What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio and welcome to the Draftkings Picks and Prediction Show. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, where me, Weezy, Luke, and MMA Monk break down the upcoming card from a DFS perspective and give our predictions as well. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. That always does help out. And then also, if you do want to sign up for Prize Picks, be sure to use the code Pub Sports for a match bonus. As always, I am here with Luke, Weezy, and Monk. We're going to go through the fight to target, fight to fade, fighter to fade, favorite dog, favorite GPP play, favorite cash play, favorite value play, our dart throw. We'll go over our lineups from last week. We'll see who won. We'll go over the current standings. I think 12 cards already this year. We'll give our quick picks and answer any questions you guys have in the chat. We will start with you, Monk. Monk, what is up? You looking forward to the card?
What's up, fellas? What's up, chat? Everybody, yes, sir. I am looking forward to the card because it's such a boring week. You know, I have no life, man. So it's such a boring weekend without UFC fights. So I'm always looking forward to fights. Not a very high name value card, but we do have some bangers, especially that main event I'm looking forward to for sure.
Sounds good. Luke, you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, fun one. A lot of violence. Love my ITD lines. A lot of projected to end ITD. So, yeah, ready to get into it.
Let's go. Violence is good. And last but not least, we got Weezy. Weezy, you looking forward to the card?
It's Woo Yanan fight week, everybody. Let's get it, man. I mean, how could you be any more excited for anything but this, man? We got to go the woo, woo, woo. And then we go woo, you know. So let's get it, man. I'm ready to go.
Oh, what a fight. What a fight. Let's shout out the chat before we get started. We got Lou Betcha. Now that she's a free agent, I need your demand to see Hansen versus Jojua. Luke, what are your thoughts on Hansen versus Jojua? A high-level fight there.
Lou, I'm going to tell you right now, Jojua's got a fight booked in a month. We have Russian titles to win. Hansen's got some other different things going on. We got a serious fighter in Jojua over here, and Hansen's got to got to please some people with some extra chromosomes here too. So I think we got some serious things on Jojua. Hansen's done. Russian titles to win. Come on, Lou.
I like it. There you go.
What
Lou.
a promo.
It was a good promo. I like it. Philip, what's up, fellas? What is up, Philip? We got PayPal, My Money DFS. What is up, PayPal? How you doing? Raw Torque saying, what up, ladies? What is up, Raw Torque? And we got David with the Dono 1999 saying, got the takedown on 273. And always appreciate y'all. Let's keep it going, David. Congrats with your takedown. That is awesome. Great lineup there. And thank you for the Dono. It does mean a lot. Get another one this week. I mean, you can do it. And yeah, that's awesome there. So I say we get into the fight to target. We will start with you, Weezy. What is your favorite fight to target for this week?
I'm glad you went to me first because I don't want to be the fourth person saying this fight. It's the Luque Muhammad fight. I mean, come on, man. 5 rounds. Vicente Luque is like one of the top fighters in any weight class in the UFC that you just want to target this guy's fights. He scores almost 4 DraftKings points a minute, and he blocks punches with his face, and he allows about 4 DraftKings points a minute. This guy is in some of the highest scoring point contests on DraftKings, period. So I'd be shocked if the winner of this fight wasn't optimal this week. Luque, over a massive sample size of UFC fights, he's averaging 3.62 DraftKings points a minute, and he's allowing 3.46. It's the only 5-round fight on the slate. I mean, it's the easiest fight to target. You got to have either one of these guys in damn near every lineup this week.
Yep, I went with the same exact thing. Vicente Luque, Belal Muhammad. It is currently minus 130. Fight doesn't go to decision. I think if it does finish, it is probably from the Luque side. Luque finishing all but one of his UFC fights. And then if it does go to decision, I see it being Belal Muhammad. But I do see if it goes to decision, Belal Muhammad probably is landing takedowns, getting control time, and putting up a big score. It's really hard to see this fight not find its way onto the optimal at their price tags. We have Luque 8,500, Muhammad 7,700. I think Luque in a win, it's a finish. And I think Muhammad in a win, it's takedowns, control time, and probably a decision at 7,700. I think that scores well. So I'm right there with you, Weezy. I like the main event quite a bit. I'm going to have both sides. I'm going to be probably 100% owned to it as well. Monk, what is your favorite fight to target for this week?
I had definitely have that on my list, but I figured it would be a hot item. So let me just say one thing. The $8,500 and $7,700 salary pair, the best salary pair to play on the entire card, with one of the fighters making the optimal lineup 67% of the time. This is the best salary to play. So definitely play that fight. But I will give you some stats for Chris Barnett and Martin Buday. I mean, I'm super excited for this fight, man. How could you not like Chris Barnett? How could you not want to see another front flip onto his ass that absolutely shakes the whole arena like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park? I mean, it was fantastic. As far as stats go, Barnett allowing 3.26 points a minute. And if you put DraftKings scoring on Martin Buday's DWCS fight, he would have scored 7.26 points per minute. And that's over 5 minutes. He ended the fight just under the first round bell. So that's what, 35 plus points a round. So that's what, 105 plus points in a decision. I mean, obviously that doesn't always carry over, but he only allowed 1 point a minute in those 5 minutes as well. Chris Barnett, both these guys actually together have 24 wins professionally by KO TKO. Chris Barnett has been knocked out 3 times in his career. Buday has never been finished. So I'm looking for a finish in this one, no matter what, whether it be what I expect Buday to kind of put it on Barnett and hopefully finish in early in the first round, given his $9,000 salary, some great value, or we see another, Chris Barnett. I know Buday is not Gian Vellante. No one is Gian Vellante. But just for the upside of that, you can have him in your lineups as well. I'm really looking forward to this fight. So this will be my fight to target. Not as high as the main event, but pretty close.
Sounds good. I like it. Luke, how about you? What fight you liking this week?
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of a different angle here. Going Levitt in Ogden, sixth best inside the distance line on the slate, roughly 60% implied to finish. Despite that, the style dynamic of both guys, primary grapplers, which we know scores well on DraftKings. Between both guys in their careers, their fights don't hit the cards 76% of the time. Ogden is the better wrestler in the matchup in my eyes, who I do think has the potential to lock down Levitt, but he's also a pretty good submission grappler too, and has a black belt in his pocket on the other side. You got a guy in Levitt who's a funky BJJ guy who's willing to exchange in the scrambling type of games to find his submission opportunities, which has been very successful for him over the years. Ogden's also been submitted in 3 of his 4 pro losses, which needs to be noted in a fight I think that's going to have a healthy amount of ground time. Ogden's also making his UFC debut, so I do think you're going to get some leverage to the field here with people not knowing too much about Trey Ogden, but in a W, I feel pretty confident that he's going to 10x at 8.3 even without a finish. And obviously a Levitt W primarily comes with the submission as the large chunk of his win equity. So I think it's a really good sneaky fight to target, especially with both guys being around that 8K range, so you can fit them into a wide range of your constructions.
Yep, totally agree. I think that is a very good fight to target, and yeah, hopefully a sneaky one as well. Let's go to our fight to fade, though. I will let you kick this one off. Monk, what is your fight to fade for this week?
I'll go ahead and give Kianzad and the return of the elbow queen, Lena Landsberg. This one is an interesting salaried fight. 9,100 for Kianzad, 71 for Landsberg. I suppose it's probably about where it should be. My whole thing is the scoring from this side. Kianzad scores 2.66 points per minute, only 75 when she wins, and that's averaged over 4 UFC fights. 4 UFC wins, I should say. Lena Landsberg also with 4 UFC wins, 2.44 points per minute, and only 79 points when she wins. So neither of these women, let's see, Landsberg actually has scored over 91 time out of her 4 wins. Kianzad has yet to score 90 points. They both give up a decent amount, but nothing crazy. I guess Landsberg does give up 107 when she loses, but Kianzad only gives up 83. So not a ton of points in Kianzad fights. The other thing that really worries me, obviously, is a lot of you guys, if some of you are new to the sport, you don't have any idea who Lena Landsberg even is. She has, and that's not your fault. She has not fought in 809 days. So 2 years, 3 months, pretty much. I believe that was, Sarah McMahon. She lost to Sarah McMahon back on January 25th of 2020. So I'm kind of fading this one for Landsberg ring rust and then Kianzad's very low scoring output. So give me the big fade on Kianzad and Landsberg. I'll play some other $9,000 people instead of Kianzad, and then Landsberg I can get to some cheaper people instead of her as well.
Yep, sounds good to me. Luke, what are you fading for this week?
I'm going the other chick fight in Nunes and Hughes, second worst inside the distance line on the slate at roughly 33% implied to finish, which I also think is pretty generous, to be honest. There have been a healthy amount of finishes in Hughes fights, but since entering the UFC and fighting better girls, she's hung reasonably tough. Even the Torres fight, it was a corner stoppage with an eye injury, so it's not like she technically, got finished at least inside the general rounds. And I think one of the best attributes of Sam Hughes is her general toughness to boot. On the other side, Nunes has a couple finishes, but they're with kicks and knees and not punches, which I think is interesting from a WMMA perspective. She's also not a girl to really proactively wrestle, and her volume tends to be average to lower. So, I don't know if I would outright fade this fight, just because I do think Hughes could have some sneaky wrestling potential to pull the upset, but I still do think this fight hits the cards at a pretty high clip. And we do have a lot of fighters in those bottom ranges who have a lot more finishing upside. And I just can't pay up for Nunes when she's surrounded by fighters with such a higher chance to finish inside the distance.
Yep, sounds good to me. I'm going to agree with Monk on this one. I'm not going to have much, if any at all, of the Panny Landsberg fight. I think it's a really good matchup for Panny. Like Monk mentioned, we have not seen Landsberg in a very long time. I think Panny does win it. Don't necessarily see her finishing Landsberg. I guess it's possible, but at 9,100, that is definitely a price to pay, where I don't expect Panny to go out there and go for takedowns. I think she's going to try to keep this on the feet and outpoint Landsberg for 3 rounds probably. So that's a pretty easy fade for me. Weezy, what fight are you fading for this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can fade any of the 3 women's fights, but I chose Estela Nunez versus Sam Page because I feel like this one has definitely got the least chance to finish. With the only reason I didn't want to fade the Landsberg-Kianzad fight, because there's just as many good reasons to fade that one. Lena Landsberg's 40 years old, just had a baby, hasn't fought in 2 years. She might pull a John Vellante here, have one foot out the door and just get knocked out. I actually wouldn't be surprised about that. And if you look at Panny and Lena's combined losses, I believe just under half or just over half have finished inside the distance. So I think that one actually has a little bit of sneaky finish upside for Panny. So I'm fading Nunez versus Sam Page because, first of all, Nunez isn't going to take anybody down. She wants to stay on the outside and strike. And striking fights in DK are always a little bit lower scoring than fights that have grappling in them. So, and then Sam Page has never even completed a takedown in the UFC. I don't think I've even seen her get one on the regional scene either. Because of that, I think that this fight's probably going to just take place on the cage. It's going to be super grimy. It probably goes to decision 85% of the time. So I think Luke and I are right, and Brady and Monk are wrong. You got to fade Estela Nunez versus Sam Page this week, and maybe Panny Kianzad might just get a finish of a Lena Landsberg that really is checked out, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll probably be fading both there, especially in cash.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to fade both, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to our fighter to fade. I'm going to go first so you guys don't take it again. I'm going to go with Alatang Hali, actually, at 8,800. The guy's just so low volume. He's not finished anybody yet in the UFC. He should go for takedowns in this matchup, but he doesn't wrestle as much as he really should. I kind of see a slow-paced kind of fight, at least on his side, but I actually kind of think Kevin Croom is pretty live. Kevin Croom is cutting down to 135, so I do want to see him on the scales, but Kevin Croom, very awkward, very tricky to deal with on the feet. He's going to throw volume, whereas Alatang Ali, I don't think he surpassed 50 significant strikes yet in his career in the UFC, so I'm actually going to be fading Alatang Ali. I don't really see him finishing Croom, so yeah, that's my fade for the week at 8,800. Weezy, who are you fading for this week?
I'm just going to use an economy of words here. I'm fading Wu Yanan because she's just terrible. She's just terrible. And I'm not, so the Wu, got to fade him this week. This is not the Wu-Tang Clan. This is Wu Yanan. Do not get them mixed up. One of them is just a dynamo, and the other one shows up for a show check and pretty much gets her ass shaved every time. She does have one win, though. She does have one UFC win. It is over, I believe, Luke's favorite fighter, Lauren Princess Tiger Mueller. Was that you, Luke? That's huge. That's you. That's the huge fan of Princess Tiger, right?
Joe Jua, not Lauren Mueller. Get Lauren Mueller out of there. Come on, Weezy.
Yeah. No, just look, you guys, don't roster Wu Yanan. It's not going to work out for you. All right.
Yeah, it's not going to work out. I agree with that. Luke, what fight are you fading for this week?
Well, off the top, I'm officially disowning Weezy for claiming that I am more into their truth crowd. I might just actually hop off the podcast right now, but no. In all seriousness, yeah, I'm going back to kind of what you guys said with the actual fighter to fade, but I'm going Kianzad 9.1. She's the third most expensive fighter on the slate with only the 16th best inside the distance line in the UFC. She's never scored more than 8 points on DK in her 4 decision wins. She's primarily a volume striker at the end of the day, little wrestling upside. So based on that alone, it's hard for her to exceed general value unless she's like a massively underpriced dog. Obviously, in this spot, that's just not the case. On the other side, Landsberg, has been, finished a few times via ground and pound, but that's just not the game of Kianzad. She's not a proactive wrestler or a big hitter. Kianzad actually did finish Lena Landsberg all the way back in 2012 in Landsberg's debut. So there is some quasi narrative there, but I'm not the guy to sit there and play, a 10-year discrepancy when that was Lena Landsberg's debut. So I'm not willing to say that at all. And it's also somewhat, I'm also somewhat of the opinion that based on the style dynamic, that I think actually Lena Landsberg is quasi live in this fight. If you go back and watch Kianzad's fight against Avila and Pennington, that were very clinch based orientated, and Lena Landsberg goes to the grappling 78% of her fights. Kianzad lost both of those fights. So if this is a clinch battle, Kianzad's not minus 400. That's all I'm going to say right now. Do I have any confidence in the 40-year-old Lena Landsberg coming with the baby and the narrative? No, but if she's not at space, she's fighting a girl who doesn't wrestle her. I don't really see how Pani Kianzad covers minus 400, how she exceeds value at 9.1 at all. I'm actually going to be overweight to Lena Landsberg as a contrarian play this week.
Sounds good to me. You know what's worse than her being minus 400? It's Bueno Silva being minus 500. I mean, I can't believe some of these lines this week. But Monk, who are you fading this week?
Yeah, that's insanity. Give me Jesse the Body Snatcher Ronson. Sorry, Lou, bet you that nickname is terrible. $8,000 for Jesse Ronson. Look, this guy has his own name and his own birthday tattooed on his own arm. Okay? I could just stop there like Lou. We could go get a beer right now, right off this podcast. But honestly, though, Rafa García, his opponent, lands 1.33 takedown points per minute. That is the highest number on the entire card. Jesse Ronson, first of all, hasn't fought in officially 627 days, so that's damn near 2 years. He scored only 1.96 points per minute in his UFC fights. He is 0-3, 1 no contest. He did pop for, I believe, anabolic steroids, but I heard that it was a tainted supplement, possibly, so who the fuck knows. Either way, he was on suspension for this whole time. But he allows 3.46 points per minute, which is just what Rafa García scores. I think this one's going to be pretty easy for Rafa García. I just don't have any faith in Jesse Ronson. I shouldn't say pretty easy, but I think Rafa García should be able to come out here, land some takedowns, more than one. If this does go to decision, I think Rafa García could be very good for cash as well, scoring a decent amount of points in 3 rounds. So give me the fade on Jesse Ronson this week. Another guy coming off a 2-year layoff. Can't do it.
All right, there we go. Let's move on to our favorite dog of the week. Monk, we will stick with you. Who are you liking as a dog this week? I think you're muted, though.
Sorry, let me pull up my notes here. Switch over. I really like the main event dog, Belal Muhammad. Let me get that out of the way. As I said, 7,700, a fantastic salary to play, possibly the best one overall on DraftKings, and definitely the best underdog salary to play. Belal scores 3.5 points a minute. That's the 4th best on the card, allowing only 2 points per minute. And he's been on absolute fire lately. He only scores 88 points in a win. He just came off a 3-round domination of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, in which he scored 132 points in 3 rounds. For some reason, I thought that was a 5-round fight. It was not, I don't think. This one, he's got 5 rounds. So if he can avoid some of the stuff that Luque does on the feet, and just really get, have a good fight and take down Luque, because Luque is susceptible to takedowns. He does average or give up 50 or 0.5 points per minute via takedown and 0.32 points via control time per minute. So if you remember that Chiesa fight, he had gotten taken down and was being controlled until he completely flipped the script, and Chiesa walked right into a Darce choke for an easy first-round finish. I don't think Belal's going to do that. I think he's a bit headier. I think the past few years he's really I just think he's on a roll, and a lot of people don't like his game because he's just a takedown heavy guy. You know, they say he's lay and pray. I disagree. I agree he's takedown heavy, but I disagree that he's a boring fighter. I'm going to be looking to roster him in a ton of lineups this week, probably more than Vicente Luque. But so give me Belal Muhammad for my favorite dog.
Yeah, I went with Muhammad as well, 7,700. I think you have to play Belal Muhammad, like we talked about earlier. If he wins, he's going to put up a pretty big score. I personally think Luque is going to take his head off, but to be honest, there's not a ton of dogs I really like this week. Like, do I want to play heavyweight William Knight? Not really. Do I want to play, Brandon Jenkins? No, I do not. TJ Laramie? No. Yanan Wu? No, not really. Under Fiallo, I guess I'll play some of him, but yeah, there are not a lot of dogs I really like. Muhammad, I like him. I think he's going to go for takedowns. I think he does get takedowns, but as long as he does not get knocked out, I think he puts up a really, really big score in 5 rounds here against Vicente Luque. So because there are a lot of dogs I like, Muhammad is going to be my guy there. So we'll see what happens there. Weezy, who's your favorite dog this week?
So, it was going to be Muhammad. I've got a whole write-up on it, but I was just going to say, you don't need to hear it from all 4 of us. So I'm going to take a look at Kaio Bahayo this weekend. Look, this guy is really good. I think it's good matchmaking. I think these guys are really evenly matched in their skills. I think we're going to see García do a lot of wrestling. I think that we're going to see Kaio probably win the exchanges on the feet. But I've seen Kaio's takedown defense hold up on the regional scene. But then again, he's not wrestling Russians. But I just get this feeling that if García isn't able to take this guy down and hold him down, that Kaio is going to finish him. He's got power in both hands. He's a natural righty who taught himself how to fight southpaw so that he could be even trickier. He's a thinking man's fighter. He likes to outsmart his opponents. These are the kind of guys that I like to back with my betting money, and I like to back in DFS because they're going to work to make their opponents uncomfortable. And that's how you win fights, and that's how you score points in this game. So I'm going to be looking at Kaio Bahayo, and I'm going to be getting him into some lineups this weekend, thinking that he might be a low-owned, really high upside option here.
I like it. And he also has a very nice neck tattoo as well, so he has that going for him. Luke, who's your favorite dog this week?
Yeah, it's another tough week for dogs because I do think there is a couple guys with a lot of upside, but there are a lot of boomer busts. But I do think there are a few guys that are decent to just win their fights as a whole. So that's kind of what I'm leaning to. And I'm going Ronson at 8K. We did see that line flip now too, at least to pick him. I do think we are going to see Ronson take more money. He's probably going to close, I would say, probably 60% or so. So I think off the top, you're getting some general odds salary-based value there. He doesn't have a great inside the line at 25%, but I do think in general, he's the most live underdog in terms of at least DraftKings to win on the slate as a whole. I can see García having some wrestling success, but the thing with Ronson is he's really going to make him work, and he's the better submission grappler of the two in my eyes. And a big thing for Ronson is he just does great attritional body work per his nickname of the body snatcher. He just folds guys. He knows how to target, especially the liver, and he will target guys' legs as well. And I think that should aid in sapping the gas tank of García, who's historically known to be a historic gasser already, let alone when you're fighting a guy who's going to proactively target your body and target your legs. I don't think that goes overtly well for García. Despite his historic durability, he's been dinged before multiple times, and Ronson has an 81% finish rate in his W. So give me some Jesse Ronson at 8K this week. I actually do think he's sneaky alive to finish. And it's one of those cards where if those other kind of boomer bust dogs don't come through with big finishes, it could just take the fact, of the underdog going ahead and winning the fight. I do think there are some honorable mentions there in terms of dogs in Levitt and Kevin Croom as well.
Sounds good to me. Let's keep moving on. We have our favorite GPP play. Weezy, we'll start with you. Who are you liking here?
Yeah, this one's an easy one for me. It's going to be Martin Buday. Huge finish, wrestling, and knockdown upside for this guy. He's so much bigger and stronger than Barnett. He's a natural heavyweight, and Buday's strengths as a fighter kind of line up nicely with Huggy Bear's weaknesses. Buday, if the Contender Series fight against Lorenzo Hood was DraftKings eligible, he would have scored over 120 points in that outing. I'm anticipating kind of a similar performance from the man that I chose to carry Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week banner this week, you guys. It's Martin Buday. I'm a big fan of Huggy Bear. He's a super fun fighter to watch, but I hate this matchup for him, man. I think that this guy's going to get slept probably in the first or second round. For 9,000, a heavyweight, high upside finisher, man, I think you have to roster this guy.
I like it. Luke, who are you liking this week?
I'm actually going Luque at 8.5K. You know, he's the 10th most expensive fighter on the board, but the third best inside the distance line at roughly 45%. He averages 93 points on DraftKings, with the exception of the stinker, you know, against Perry. But outside of that, he scored actually no worse than 93 points in a W. He's incredibly well-rounded between his striking, submission, grappling, and is dangerous in both realms. He's finished 13 of his 14 UFC wins, with 8 of them also coming in the first round. Belal has been knocked down 6 times in the UFC and has lost in each of those instances, despite me thinking Belal, you know, is a competent grappler. Luque is just a better one and just not a guy you can shoot from far out against, which we've seen Belal do for multiple times. You know, what we have seen from Luque, he's got that really tight front headlock series. So you can't make those small mistakes, coupled with the fact this is also a rematch, not playing too much into it, but Luque did knock him out back in 2016 in the first round as well. You do have 25 minutes to play with as the main event. So you got a guy in Luque who just scores incredibly well. Once again, it's a GPP based play at 8.5. You're not paying 9K, 9.5, but a guy who just scores incredibly well. Very, very dangerous. A guy who has a W over the guy he's already fighting. I love Luque and GPPs, but you guys made a lot of good arguments for Belal as well. I think it's a great fight to target as a whole.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. For me, I'm going to go with Pat Sabatini, 9,200. I really like this guy. I really like this game. I feel like if this fight hits the mat, he's going to have a very good chance to get a submission. Legit black belt in BJJ, very good grappler. Going against TJ Laramie, who is a good fighter. He's very young. He has taken some time off. I do expect to see improvements. But what I really like about Pat Sabatini is he's not the best striker in the world, but he goes for takedowns and he's relentless with it. And I do see this fight hitting the mat, and I think he's very live for a sub. So I love me some Pat Sabatini, 9,200. I think he does finish TJ Laramie at some point in this fight. Monk, who are you liking as the GPP play?
I'm with you right there. Pat Sabatini, 9,200. I'm glad you chose it because I'll be able to give some stats and won't be repeating anything. Sabatini, best scorer on the card, 4.02 points per minute, 92 when he wins, and he only allows 1.64 back at him per minute. Average value of almost 11. I mean, the guy is doing big things as far as DraftKings scoring goes. He's going to be great for cash this week as well. TJ Laramie, only one fight in the UFC. He scored 0.79 points a minute. That's it. Gave up 7.83. I know it was a first minute or minute one knockout or finish rather, not a knockout. It was a submission. But against Derek Minner, I believe. Yeah. Back in 2020. So not a very big sample size. I just like Brady said, I love the takedown upside of Sabatini. I think he's going to be able to rinse and repeat takedowns and, generally scores very well. Like I said, 2 of his 3 wins over 90 points. So I think he will be able to, even if this goes to decision, he should score well in a 3-round. But even if it doesn't, I mean, Laramie's live to get subbed here. Absolutely. So give me the upside of Pat Sabatini for this pick.
I'm right there with you, Monk. We'll move on to our favorite cash play, and we will start with Luke. Who are you liking for cash this week?
Yeah, easy selection for me. I got to go close. 9.4, currently 85% implied plus to win his fight as a whole. He's actually all the way up to like minus 800 on certain books. I definitely understand some of the concerns from a DraftKings perspective, as he has put up some poor scores in the past, but there is a very large bit of context there as he's fought an incredibly tough strength of schedule and has run essentially fringe top 25 guys pretty much throughout his entire run, but he's very reliable to throw strikes. He can wrestle. On the other side, he's fighting a guy in Jenkins who's really only in the UFC by virtue of, stepping up on short notice against Zhu Rong this past year. So the UFC is doing him another favor. We've seen this multiple times. They say, thank you for stepping in on short notice. We're going to give you another fight, another fight or two, see what you can do. But thanks, no thanks. We're going to give you an unfavorable stylistic matchup. So I think it's just a great one for close. I think he should be able to land strikes with impunity. I think he can wrestle. I think he's the better submission grappler. I mean, if a guy like Zhu Rong's going out there and looking like Jordan Burroughs against you, I don't see why close can't. in any stretch of the imagination either. So at 9.4, he's incredibly safe in my eyes, and it's the easiest fight to date for Jakar Close in 5 years.
Yep, same thing for me. Close 9,400. A little bit pricey. I'm not going to play him a ton in tournaments, but for cash games, I think he's probably one of the safest, if not the safest play on the slate. Like you mentioned, minus 800 favorite. Jenkins kind of a punching bag. Terrible takedown defense. I think Close can win minutes on the feet, on the mat. I think there's a lot of takedown upside as well. I really do like Close, and I do feel good with him in my cash lineup. But as far as like the ceiling, I don't think it's all there. I would like some other guys like a Buday or a Sabatini, but like I said, for cash, I think he's pretty safe. Monk, who are you liking for cash this week?
I am going to go with Uncle Weezy's ass shave of the week, Martin Buday. I'm with you 100% here. Even Computer Monk thinks Buday wins this fight 79% of the time. And that's with, 2 fights worth of stats from Chris Barnett here. I'll be super quick. Buday scoring 7.26 points in his draft DWCS fight, if you put scoring on there. Like Weezy said, 125.8 points when he won. Chris Barnett allows, in his one loss, he did give up 105 points. So there, Chris Barnett is out here giving up points when he loses. I know he got subbed by Ben Rothwell, and that was a second round sub, and he's given up that kind of points. So, if Buday finishes in the first round, we could have a ton of points here, well over 100, well over 110 possibly. So give me just the upside for Martin Buday. I think he's pretty much, I don't like to say this, but I think he does win 80% of the time. I'll just be safe with my words there. So 80%, give me Martin Buday. I think that's absolutely great value still with the $9,000 salary. And I think he's going to be fantastic for cash. So pretty much an automatic, lots of points at least. So nothing like 30 or anything, we'll hope. So I'm thinking more at least, 90, 100, 110. So give me Buday for cash.
Sounds good to me. Weezy, how about you?
Something Luke said just made me laugh, and he was like, Zhu Rong looked like Jordan Burroughs against Jenkins. Dude, it was just a few weeks ago that I was here saying, dude, you've got to roster Zhu Rong against Ignacio Bahamondes. Did you see that chain wrestling? This kid is getting better. I don't care if he has pink hair. Well, yeah, no. Jenkins' wrestling defense is just that bad. So, yeah, Close is a fine play. I'm going to give you guys Pat Sabatini. I like this matchup. Pat, I kind of feel like poor TJ Laramie here. I mean, there are so many matchups in the featherweight division that he could have been given where even that guy was on a better level than him. But this is the one guy you just are probably not going to have any success wrestling and getting top control against. And I think on the ground, Pat's better. His Brazilian jiu-jitsu is better. He's stronger. His wrestling is probably at least as good, if not better than TJ's. And on the feet, he's just a much bigger guy. And he throws a lot of kicks, so he might be able to maintain distance there. Dude scores a ton of points. TJ Laramie has been finished in 3 of his 4 pro losses. They came early in fights. And the one loss that went to decision was a fight that he actually won, if you go and watch that fight. So you can make an argument that all 3 of this guy's pro losses now have been finishes. Pat Sabatini is definitely a finisher via submission, so I could see him getting it done inside the distance at 9,200. I think he's a fine option for cash.
Sounds good to me. Let's move on to our favorite value play. Luke, we'll start with you. Who are you liking for some value this week?
Real quick, I just want to address one comment in the chat from Sean. He said Close isn't a finisher at all. Close probably doesn't get a finish, so he's an awful DK pick.
Yep.
Once again, we're talking about cash. We're not talking about GPPs. So even if Close doesn't 10x and he scores 85, 90 points, I still think that's a viable cash-based option that's very, very safe. So there's some context there. Also, when we have seen guys drop massively in terms of step downs in competition who have been decision machines historically, go look at Ricky Simone, Gaetano Perello. Ricky Simone doesn't finish anybody, but he fights Gaetano Perello, who's not a UFC caliber fighter, submits him in the second round. So just wanted to throw a little context there. So before you start flapping the fingers,
No, that's a good point. Like cash, you're looking for somebody safe, right? And I hope he doesn't finish him because I do have an over in that fight. But yeah, you're totally right. Like this is a massive step down. His easiest fight thus far in the UFC, you got to think. But value play, we will start with, I believe I said Luke, right?
Yeah, I guess I didn't say it because I went on my little rant there.
Oh,
but I'm actually going to go off the board here and probably piss some people off. But I'm going to go actually Barnett. at 7.2. And I'm saying it for 4 reasons. He's the 5th cheapest fighter on the board, but with the 12th best inside the distance line at roughly 33% implied. He's 77% finish rate in his W's, brings a ton more variance along with it. I just don't rate either guy, as a UFC caliber fighter. One's 7.2K, one's 9K. Obviously, Buday is going to be one of the most highly rostered this week. So I think Barnett's a decent way to have leverage to the field. Do I have any confidence in it? Absolutely not. But for a sloppy, low-level fight, on a guy in Buday hasn't really proved anything to me, I'm going to have some shares of Barnett at 7.2.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heavyweight fight. Anything can happen in heavyweight fights. For me, I'm going to go with Kevin Croom at 7,400. I mean, one of these guys are going to, do stuff, and the other guy is not. And Alateng Ali just doesn't throw anything, whereas I think Croom is going to be the much more active fighter. He's huge. He's going to have a huge size advantage. I can't wait to see what the weigh-ins look like as well. But I do like Croom. I think he has the volume advantage here. Again, a very tricky guy to deal with on the feet. I can see him winning minutes. So I like some Croom. 7,400, not the best play in the world, but I think he has a good chance to win here. And at that price tag, I'm willing to take some shots. Weezy, who's your favorite value play for this week?
Yeah, this is a strange one, but I'm going with William Knight, actually. Devin Clark literally gets hurt in every fight badly, even the ones that he wins. And Clark's been stopped in 5 of 6 losses in the pros, right? And the one fight that went to decision, he had his mouth completely rearranged by Ion Cutelaba. That fight almost got stopped like 3 different times. And if it wasn't for drunk Keith Peterson being in the cage that night, it would have been stopped. So I kind of feel like if Knight wins this fight, he's going to finish it. And, I don't know how Devin Clark's going to look at heavyweight. I think actually Knight will probably look like the more natural heavyweight here, because Clark is just all thighs. That guy has got tree trunks for thighs, but then the rest of the body doesn't even look like it's big enough to fight light heavyweight. So I don't know, man. It's a weird fight, but I feel like if Knight wins it, and he's kind of one of these really difficult guys to handicap because he's kind of got like a unique skill set. He's got great conditioning for a guy that's as bricked up as he is. He hits super hard, and he can wrestle a little bit. And I think just some people have a hard time dealing with that weird ass combination of skills that he has. And I just don't have a ton of faith in Devin Clark. Like I say, even when he's winning, it looks like he's this close to losing. So I'm going to go with Knight. It's a good value this week at 7,600. And I think that if he does win this fight, he's probably going to finish it.
Yeah, it's such a greasy fight, but in a greasy fight, you probably want to take some shots on that 7,600. Monk, who are you liking for some value this week?
I'm going to go ahead and pick the Monkey King, Jordan Levitt, 7,900. This guy scores 3.5 points per minute, 103 when he wins, and that's over his 2 UFC wins. Trey Ogden obviously coming in here with huge sub and wrestling upside. We just have not seen him fight at this level. So the possible value that Jordan Levitt could pay off here at the dog salary of 7,900 is pretty high in my opinion. Guy's got a great ceiling, the highest floor on the card as well. That should be noted. And I agree with his very own Bet MMA breakdown of his own fight that he is about 60% to win this thing. So I do agree with him there. I mean, look, the guy has a great takedown game of his own, averaging 0.9 points per minute just in takedowns. He is prone to getting taken down, though, giving up 1.11 per minute in just takedowns. But he is a pretty prolific submission artist. He does like his submissions, 6 wins by sub in his pro career. Trey Ogden does have 11 wins by sub himself, but 3 submission losses, whereas Jordan Levitt has never been finished in his pro career. So give me the upside for Jordan Levitt to pay off his $7,900 salary pretty well in a win for possible value.
Yeah, if Levitt does win, it is going to be more than likely by submission. I don't hate some shots on him in that fight in general. I think one is good to target. Let's move on to the dart throw. I will kick this one off. Give me Andre Fiallo at 7,500. We have seen Baeza hurt. We have seen Baeza knocked out, and Fiallo hits like an absolute truck. I think it's a very winnable fight for Baeza, but Fiallo is going to walk forward. He's going to throw very hard. We're in the smaller cage. I think he does have some knockout upside, so I will be taking some dart throws on Fiallo for that early knockout upside. Monk, Who are you liking as a dart throw this week?
I'm going to go back to Lena Landsberg. I know I said fade this fight in general, but for a dart throw, I mean, if you need some salary relief, she's perfect for that spot, 7,100. I've already talked about her numbers. She doesn't score extremely well, but if she does last all 3 rounds with Kianzad and can pull off a split or even a unanimous decision, taking 2 out of 3 rounds, I don't expect that to happen or anything, but that's why this is the dart throw section. She could pay off her salary of 7,100, especially in like a cash lineup or something like that. I mean, 70 to 80 points is going to be 10x this week for her. So that could be pretty decent. I don't really have much else to say about this one. I'm looking for a stat that I haven't said. She does only have 50% takedown defense, which is something that kind of worries me. But her strength of schedule is pretty good, at least better than Pani Kianzad's by about 10 points. So maybe a little bit of a levels difference in opponents as of the last 5. But give me Lena Landsberg for an absolute dart throw this week and possible salary relief.
There you go, Lena Landsberg. Luke, how about you? Who are you liking as a dart throw?
So under the precipice of a dart throw, something being low owned, I'm actually going to the top this week, and I'm going Bueno Silva at 9.3K, just because I think everybody's obviously going to roster Sabatini, Buday close. So I don't think Silva's going to really get much rostership at 9.3. She has had somewhat of an underwhelming UFC run, but has also fought a very tough strength of schedule. She's now fighting a non-UFC caliber fighter in Wu, who blocks punches with her face and can't grapple. All 12, I should say, of Wu's pro wins, she's only beaten 2 girls that have 1 pro win. So she's beaten nothing but absolute soccer moms at the same time. Silva hasn't landed a takedown in the UFC, so there is some conjecture. Once again, this is all into my dart throw narrative, but I do actually think she's going to come out here and wrestle. And if she does, I really think she has no issue in submitting Wu. It's black belt versus blue belt at the end of the day. And keep in mind, that Wu made Gina Mazzani look like Jordan Burroughs out there. I mean, Gina Mazzani went out there and tossed the girl around, for the better part of 8 minutes. So I don't see why Bueno Silva, if she wants to, can proactively shoot takedowns. If she strikes, Silva can crack 100%, and she's going to get hit harder than, Wu has ever, probably been hit before. Girls like, Jocelyn Edwards and all that bullshit. Silva was probably 2 minutes away from finishing Marina Moroz back in the day. I mean, she had the girl on the ropes. You throw an extra couple of minutes on that fight, Bueno Silva probably beats her up. She was beating the shit out of Montana De La Rosa. She's a girl who's tough as shit. She's going to throw strikes. She's got some pop. So I'm going to be overweight actually to Silva, because I do think she's live to finish in both realms of this fight as a contrarian pivot play to the top range. The narrative will be, it's a chick fight. Bueno Silva has looked like shit in the UFC, but there's high lack of context in the matchup, and I do think she can finish this fight and potentially break this slate.
Nice. There you go. Weezy, who are you liking as a dart throw?
Yeah, the slander of Wu Yanan, coming from Luke, it's just terrible, but I agree with him 100%. You know what the records are of the women that have beaten Wu Yanan in the UFC outside of their outside of the Wu fights? So it's Mazzani, Jocelyn Edwards, and Mizuki Inoue. Their combined UFC records, not including Wu Yanan, are 1 win and 8 losses. And those are the girls who are beating Wu Yanan. So, yeah, I mean, like, Silva's a nice little play there. I was going to give you guys Kaio Bahayo but I've already discussed that. So how about Lusa, the guy that's taken the Lazzez fight? I think we're going to be able to get him down around 7,100 or maybe even less than that. And I mean, like, Mounir Lazzez is not a world beater, you guys. He's okay. He's a good mixed martial artist. He's fairly well-rounded. But if you watch the performance that this Lusa kid put on against Della Maddalena, he's incredibly tough. He's got some wrestling of his own. He's got a little bit of a ground game of his own. And he's training over at Sanford MMA. So he's probably getting, much better looks in training than Lazzez is working over in the UAE. So kind of think that could be a good way to save some money this week when he becomes available on DraftKings. And that'll happen before Saturday. So that'd be as good of a dart throw as any.
Sounds good. Yeah, we don't have the salaries on that fight yet, but we should be getting them pretty soon. That was the first time we talked about that. Thank you, Weezy, for bringing that up. But now we will go to the lineups for last week. Before we do so, if you guys can please leave a like, also subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio, and anybody in the chat, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, and we'll get to those questions in a second. But yeah, lineups from last week. So we have, see if I got the right one. All right. In last place, we have Monk with Alexander Volkanovski, 133.16, Chimaev, 100.69, Petr Yan, 50.96, Mickey Gall, 10.91, Daniel Santos, 20.98, and then Darian Weeks, 30.16. In third place, we have Weezy with 429.87. He had Petr Yan, 50.96. Fluffy Hernandez, 117.15. Mackenzie Dern, 55.92. Alexia Oleinik at 99.52. Kay Hansen, 32.82. And then Mark Madsen, 73.50. In second place, me with Volkanovski, 133.16. Chimaev, 100.69. Yan, 50.96. Madsen, 73.50. Darian Weeks, 30.16. And then Aljamain Sterling with 85.93, scoring 474.40. And then in first place is Luke with Volkanovski, 133.16. Chimaev, 100.69. Hernandez, 117.15. Madsen, 73.50. Gall, 10.91. And Sterling, 85.93, scoring 521.34. Congrats, Luke.
Thanks, man. Haven't beat you guys too many weeks. I've been messing around in the mid range a little bit, but yeah, still got to try to catch Monk, and yeah, it's tough. It's tough with you boys. You boys are the DFS guys. I'm the betting guy that got brought into this show. So I'm trying my best. I know I'm going to fall off a cliff at any single point here in this week. You guys are all much sharper DFS guys than me, so I'm 100% happy to take a week down when I can.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sick of getting second place. It feels like 4 or 5 weeks in a row I've been second. So hopefully get first this week. We'll go over the total cards. Looks like we have 11 cards on the year, and we came up with something new. So apparently the loser, after the year is over, the loser has to get a Kaio Bahayo neck tattoo, #free spirit. So I would not want to be in last place because that is going to be a disaster. A tattoo, permanent, Kaio Bahayo, free spirit. So in last place.
What about a Kaio Bahayo tattoo and a Patty Pimblett haircut?
Oh.
I don't know if any chick is going to talk to you again, bro. I think you might be screwed if you're a single individual. You might be screwed this way.
Now that's a terrible combination. Those things don't go together. They just don't. But
well, if you got that Patty Pimblett haircut, then you are kind of a free spirit, you know, and you might as well just advertise it on your own throat.
Yeah, for sure. But
I suppose there's probably a Calibro chick that's down for the children of the corn haircut.
We might as well change our name to Blood Diamond as well while we're at it.
Get them all.
Just get them all. That'd be terrible.
This contest is serious.
It really is.
Life-changing.
In danger of the Kaio Bahayo neck tattoo right now is Uncle Weezy with a 4,601.87. In third place is me with 4,842.41. In second place is Luke with 4,866.67. And then in first place is Monk with 4,890.68. Monk, we closed the gap there last week.
Close the gap. I talked all this shit last week, and then I got last place. That's what I get. I tell you what, not going to happen again this week. I'm actually not the last place. That could totally happen, but me talking shit. So I'm either first or last in this contest. So let's hope I lean more towards the first in the coming weeks, because I can't do any one of those three things, honestly. The neck tattoo just does not look good on me. Plus, my beard covers it up. No one would actually know that I am a free spirit unless I shave it or ponytail it out of the way like Mike Beltran. So,
well, hopefully,
I think you could pull that off, Mike.
I could.
You could pull that off, Mike. Get the Mike Beltran thing going.
Yeah, I'm trying to grow the mustache down. I mean, that guy's, I don't know. He must be on hair steroids or something. I don't know how the hell he did that. That's ridiculous. there's pictures of him like 10 years ago, clean shaven. I'm like, what the?
Oh my. Shout out to Mike Beltron. Maybe we'll have to, Monk, if you lose, maybe you'll have to do the beard. You curl
There you
it down.
go. I'll have to shave the whole middle.
Beard down to your belly button. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So we'll do our lineups. We'll do our lineups for this week. I'll kick it off, and I might change this. I'm not in love with it, but give me a Martin Buday, give me Pat Sabatini, give me Rafa Garcia, give me Kevin Croom, give me Vicente Luque, and Belal Muhammad stacked there. Monk, do you have your lineup for this week?
Yes, sir. Pretty close, actually. Sabatini. Actually, am I go? Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. Sabatini, Buday, Godzi, Omargajev, Rafa Garcia, Belal Muhammad, and Andre Fiallo.
Sounds good. Luke, do you have your lineup for this week?
Yeah, I'm going close. Luque, Omar Getsayev, Ogden, Ronson, Croom.
And Weezy.
I'm going to go Sabatini, Buday, Baez, Bahayo, Belal Muhammad, and William Knight.
Sounds good. All right, we'll answer a few questions, and then we'll hop out of here. The first question is, Carlos was asking earlier, what is the most confident picks? For me, I really like Buday, and I like Vicente Luque inside the distance. Those are probably my favorite picks. Monk, do you have any favorite picks you really like in terms of DFS?
DFS, give me Pat Sabatini for sure, and Martin Buday.
And then Weezy, I know your most confident pick is probably Martin Buday, right?
Yeah, that's my ass shaving of the week. I think it's just a bad matchup for Huggy Bear here. But yeah, I've got a parlay, 1.25 unit parlay at minus 123 that the Sabatini and Buday money lines. Those are my two most confident picks for DFS and for just for betting.
Sounds good. Luke, off topic, but Font versus Vera plus 125. Any early lean on that one?
Oh, geez. That's coming at me out of left field. Font's the better boxer, easily, in my opinion. I'd say that's probably about right. Maybe a little short, maybe some value on Font, but that's one I'd have to do a deeper dive into personally.
Weezy or Monk, any early lean?
How about just live betting Marlon Vera after round one? That dude starts so slow, but once he starts to pick it up, man, he is difficult to deal with. So that would be my early thought just on that without looking at any tape or anything. Just, Marlon Vera takes a little while to get going.
Agreed. That's going to be one hell of a fight. But yeah, I'd have to look. I'm a stat boy. I need my stats in front of me.
Yeah, for sure. Big Show, what is up? How you doing? Weezy, will Luque retire after Belal takes his soul?
Oh, no chance, dude. I mean, like, Luque will retire when he's in a coffin. That dude is not retiring any. I mean, he's born to do this. He's going to keep going until he gets that strap, I think. And he's got a really tough test ahead of him on Saturday. But, Vicente Luque is so damn good and so fun to watch. Yeah, he is not going to be retiring after Muhammad takes his soul. And I don't think Muhammad's going to take his soul. I think if he wins this fight, he's just going to frustrate him for 5 rounds.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he took his soul there. I think that is about it. So we'll give our quick picks and then head out of here. Monk, what are your quick picks for this week?
Yes, sir. Give me Haile Alatang, Estela Nunez, Jordan Levitt, Martin Buday, Rafa Garcia, Drakkar Klose, Penny Kianzad, William Knight, Mounir Lazzez, Pat Sabatini, Mayra Bueno Silva, Miguel Baeza, Godzi Omargajev, and Vicente Luque.
Give me Croom, Nunez, Ogden, Buday, Ronson, Klose, Kianzad, Clark, Lazzez, Sabatini, Silva, Baeza, Kaio, and then Vicente Luque. Luke, how about you?
Luque, Omar Getsayev, Baeza, Silva, Sabatini, Lazzez, Clark. I'm going to say Landsberg pulls the upset, pitchforks. Close, Ronson, Barnett pulls the upset, Ogden, Nunez, and Croom.
And Weezy.
I'm going to go I'm probably going to be betting Belal Muhammad by decision because it's a nice low implied probability, but I'm still going to pick Luque for the win. I'm going to go Kaio Bahayo, Baeza, Mayra, Bueno, Silva, Sabatini. I'm going to pick Lusa for the upset. William Knight, Kianzad, Drakkar Close, Jesse Ronson, Martin Buday by ass shaving, Trey Ogden, Estella Nunez, and Kevin Croom.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, guys, we did it. Thank you all so much for watching. Monk, let everybody know where they can find you and what you have going on throughout the week for some content.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, guys. And thank you, chat, for being here. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video and channel. But be sure to check out Monk Maddox over on YouTube as well. I have my game theory video out where I break down, well, at the time, all 13 fights on the upcoming card. I also put out 2 new videos today on that channel as well. Both about 5-minute videos, just 3 quick plays and 3 quick fades for you. And then catch me over on MMA Engine where I put out the salary voodoo this morning as well. So, guys, we are stacking content over on that channel daily, so be sure to check all that out and find me on Twitter at Monk Maddox. Enjoy the fights this weekend.
For sure, yeah, for sure. Go check out Monk. Luke, how about you? What do you have going on throughout the week?
Yep, Twitter SWR_betting. Got the Club and Sub podcast tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Me and my boy John, my boy Lags is actually out tonight, so we're going to be running a 2-man crew, breaking these fights down from a betting perspective as well. Patreon.com/SWR betting if you're looking for bets, content, put full card breakdowns up there, podcast, prop article, parlay article up there as well.
Sounds good. Go check them out. And then Weezy, how about you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Uncle Weezy. I do balls deep breakdowns of fights. I do a full card breakdown every Tuesday night called Just a Tip with Uncle Weezy. You can find me tomorrow night on the MMA Engine YouTube channel doing the new show Probability, taking the world by storm that Brady and I have just started here on the MMA Engine channel. We're going to talk about a data-driven way to find value in over-under lines and fight goes and fight doesn't go to decision lines. Got a fat prop template set up for all 14 fights on the card, and we're going to try to find some best bets in those over-under categories, you guys. In addition to that, you can find me on Pub Sports Radio every Sunday for Stat Diggers, every Wednesday for the DFS show, and most Saturdays for the watch along. So let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks, you guys, for UFC Vegas 51, and good luck on all your DFS lineups this week.
Let's do it. And you can find me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers, here on Pub Sports Radio, my channel, DFS by the numbers, then, of course, on the MMA Engine. Me and Weezy will be going live tomorrow for Probability, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Come check out the new show. All right, guys, that's about it. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe. Check out Prize Picks using promo code PubSports, and we'll talk to you very soon. Good luck for UFC Vegas 51.